On August 5, 2020, at 2:47 a.m. Eastern Time, scientists celebrated the creation of the first black hole. One of the physicists working in the particle acceleration program gave an interview but refused to reveal details, as everything was classified. His colleague lifted the veil a little, although she believed that the energy surge made no sense, a displacement in geological data that no one could explain. Everyone thought it was glitches, software issues, but no one understood the importance of what had happened. Later, the cosmic disruption caused power outages all over the world. The grids couldn't handle that amount of energy. With nowhere to go, the energy dispersed, leaving behind residual radiation no one could control. The next day, rumors spread that it was something biblical, but scientists did not support that conclusion. A man named Adam listens to the news about the announced evacuation while making breakfast for his family and urging his daughter Kate to eat. After all, they have a long road ahead to her grandmother's house. Adam's wife, Andrea, hurries the family along, and they finally set out. On the way, the woman and child fall asleep. Adam drives and suddenly sees something glistening on the road ahead. At the same time, the radio begins to glitch, and then the car's engine suddenly shuts off. Adam doesn't understand what's happening, and just then, Kate wakes up and starts asking questions. The engine starts again, and Adam steps on the gas, reassuring his daughter that everything is fine and they're safe. But the man gets distracted for a moment, and in the next instant, his car crashes full speed into a black object, something like a door, standing in the middle of the road. At the same time, nervous tension fills the 911 call center as operators field desperate calls from frightened people who have witnessed the appearance of black monolithic portals. Many report missing persons, and the operators struggle to make sense of the situation. Nevertheless, they try to calm people down as best they can. One operator named Stan unexpectedly approaches his supervisor, Katie, because he believes he knows what these portals are. Years ago, he had been obsessed with strange calls about similar anomalies. He had even saved and printed them. His supervisor doesn't believe him and orders him to get back to work. Many people need help right now. Stan is forced to return to his desk just as national security declares a state of emergency. Operators are now instructed to advise people to stay away from the objects. Katie tells everyone not to overthink and to follow instructions. One of the workers tries to leave, unable to contact her daughter, but Katie asks her to stay and help. Now lives depend on their work. The woman returns to her desk and answers a call from a terrified city dweller who lost her daughter near a portal. Despite the specialist's advice, the woman declares she's going after her child. A loud noise is heard and her voice goes silent. Darkness falls, and then suddenly light ignites, and one of the portals appears right inside the call center. While people try to grasp what's happening, Stan declares that IT wants them all to go inside. Katie orders everyone to evacuate. Suddenly, the door lock is found jammed. While the men try to force the doors open and Katie attempts to contact leadership, Dory notices Stan's drawings. They look exactly like the portal. The co-workers plead with Stan to step away from the door, but he reminds them of the strange calls years ago that spoke of mysterious doors. No one wanted to listen back then. Suddenly, Stan grabs a gun and takes his co-workers hostage. He believes the object is speaking to him and demands they all go through it with him. When they refuse, Stan shoots one of the men. Realizing Stan isn't bluffing, another man complies, walks up to the portal, and disappears into it. Stan orders the others to follow and tells Dory her daughter is already there, on the other side, waiting for her. Katie quietly hands Dory a pair of scissors, and when she approaches the monolith, she tries to disable Stan, but she only wounds him and is shot dead in return. This seems to anger the monolith, which refuses to let Stan pass. Driven mad by being denied the chance to experience the portal himself, Stan fires his gun at the slab, but the ricochet kills him instantly. A message flashes on the monitors stating that the police are already in the building and they only need to hold out a few more minutes. However, a shaken Katie approaches the portal, and it seems she too falls under its spell. When the call center team breaks down the door minutes later, they find no one inside, and the portal is gone. Meanwhile, Adam regains consciousness in a hospital after the crash. One of his eyes is patched, and he remembers nothing. Nurse Leslie tells him that his family is fine and that Andrea will arrive soon. The man recalls the black portal in the middle of the road, and Leslie accidentally lets slip that he's lucky to be alive. So far, he's the only one who survived such an encounter. This unsettles Adam, but then Dr. Markkanen arrives and informs him that his right eye must be surgically removed due to damage from the accident. At the same time, Adam starts suspecting something is wrong. He keeps being prevented from contacting his wife and daughter. Markkanen congratulates him on keeping his vision and shows his own artificial eye, explaining that he lost the real one to illness. So he understands Adam's fear. After all, the brain can adapt to anything if you're willing to pay the price. Sometime later, Markkonen begins the operation, but Adam suddenly protests, and the doctor performs the surgery by force. The story rewinds to the day before the energy surge. In Jakarta, two sisters, Sarah and Jill, meet in an underground parking garage. Jill tries to convince Sarah to take a short vacation, but Sarah says she can't afford the time off. Tension builds between them when Jill confesses that she's pregnant. But Sarah doesn't want to be an aunt, and the conversation turns into a heated argument as it's revealed that Jill had lost her child and her family. Suddenly, a loud noise erupts and the electricity cuts out, plunging them into total darkness. When the emergency lighting flickers on, the sisters discover that they're staring at one of the portals, and a deafening hum causes Jill unbearable pain. Sarah runs through the garage, trying to stop her sister, but Jill is already under the portal's influence, walking mindlessly toward it. As Sarah tries to stop her, it becomes clear they are not alone. Dozens of others, like zombies, are also walking toward the portal. Jill presses herself against the portal and explains that IT is calling to them, and everyone is there. Sarah takes a step forward, and visions flash before her eyes. She sees herself holding a child. Meanwhile, others begin stepping into the portal. A woman tries to push a baby stroller through, but dies on impact as she hits the monolith. Still, people keep walking into it. Jill, too, begins to give in to the silent calling. Sarah snaps Jill back to reality, but the portal doesn't let go so easily, sending a zombie-like man after them. Sarah fights him off and drags Jill back to the car. She manages to bring her sister to her senses, but Jill tells her that the door wants Sarah. Sarah asks Jill to wait while she runs to the car and tries to start it, but then a zombified girl suddenly begins pounding on the window. Without hesitation, she smashes the glass and tries to pull Sarah out. Sarah finishes off the girl and drives back for her sister. The sisters get into the car and try to drive away, but they're soon surrounded by more zombies. Trying to swerve around them, they end up directly in front of the portal, which it turns out was Jill's intention all along. They are both pulled into the portal, and Sarah finds herself in an eerily empty garage. She calls for her sister and tries to run, but suddenly comes face to face with Jill, who seems possessed by some otherworldly entity and is holding a child in her arms. Without answering any of her questions, Jill hands the child to Sarah and vanishes, leaving Sarah with the love she had always longed for. The action returns to the clinic, where Adam is recovering from surgery. He assures Leslie that he feels fine, even though he still can't get used to being blind in one eye. She tells him that his wife should be arriving any minute. Then suddenly a voice speaks inside his head, claiming he's being deceived. Adam walks into the bathroom, removes the bandage, and sees that his eye has turned black like the portal, and it seems to be speaking to him. He begins talking back in a demonic voice, and his reflection torments him with promises of reunion with his wife and daughter. Just then, Dr. Markkonen arrives and attacks Adam, as if trying to connect with the demonic entity in his eye. He prepares to inject Adam with some kind of drug when a gunshot rings out. Leslie has killed the deranged doctor to save Adam. She explains that his family, like her own, are on the other side of the portals, and he's the only one who ever came back, but changed. The doctor wanted to claim his eye. Leslie takes Adam deeper into the hospital and tells him that some believe the monoliths are extraterrestrial, perhaps from another dimension. Others think they are biblical. In any case, they are intelligent and cannot be underestimated. They are in a military hospital, equipped with special features, where one of the captured monoliths is being held. They had tried to communicate with the entities, but each person hears something different. The being told Leslie that if she could bring Adam through the portal, it would spare her family. Adam agrees, believing that his wife and daughter are also trapped inside. But as he steps in, some unseen force kills Leslie. Adam finds himself in a house where he sees his daughter, now older. She runs away from him and Adam chases her, only to come face to face with his mirror image, possessed by a dark entity. It offers him a deal: give up both eyes so that it may see the world through him, and in return, he can stay with his wife and daughter. In defiance, Adam gouges out both eyes, refusing to let the entity into Earth. When he regains consciousness, he's back in the hospital. His wife and daughter arrive and embrace him. Leslie tells him he's lucky. Dr. Markkonen promises he will live, but when his family hugs him, Adam is now completely blind. The story cuts back to the scientists who allegedly created the black holes through experimentation. James says that people still don't know who or what came to Earth, and that's what's most frightening. Later, in an improvised lab, James analyzes one of the portals while speaking to his colleague Anna, who is in a sunlit field standing before a second portal. Anna steps into hers and finds herself on the other side, in James's lab. Thrilled that their little experiment worked, Anna urges James to come with her to prove that it can be repeated, that the portals are simply a method of travel. James hesitantly agrees and steps in first. Anna follows shortly after. On the other side, James finds himself in the field, but Anna takes much longer to materialize. And when she does, something goes wrong. Apparently possessed by a portal entity, Anna is bleeding and speaking in a voice that is not her own, much like Adam's mirror self. She grabs James by the head and, using invisible force in her bare hands, causes his skull to explode in a spray of blood and flesh. Then Anna, or whatever is now inside her, hints at a coming disaster, something far worse than the portals themselves, possibly the end of humanity. The film's message seems clear. Be careful what you wish for. Even when people receive clear warnings about the danger of their discoveries, they don't stop. And who knows where curiosity may lead.